Hello, thank you for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing of the Realme Note 50. Let's get started. This is a new series that Realme is putting out, but it's a gateway series. So join me to get to know it. Its launch price in Mexico with Telcel is $2,999 and new. On the screen you see the reference price in other currencies. Although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. Generally in Mexico prices are much higher than in other countries. And also, if it comes from Telcel, they are even higher. So maybe in other countries it seems an exorbitant price. In Mexico it seems a high price to us. The box reveals that it has a large screen, a slim design, a 13-megapixel camera, and an 8-core processor. From there, you realize that it is a device that will seek to compete one in the entry segment. In fact, the box also reads that it has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 of storage. Let's uncover it. The first thing we come across is this other box, which in turn includes these quick start guides. It's just plain old paper. And then we also have this case, which as you notice, it's semi-transparent silicone, but with a very dark finish. And it comes with some texture on the inside, reinforced corners. So I like that they include a case because you don't have to buy a separate case. And by coming in this dark tone, it's going to help it not look yellow as quickly as it might with other holsters. Although obviously it's going to change the design of the device a lot. But it's up to you whether you want to have your device protected or you want to use it without a case. Next we come directly to the cell phone. Notice that it has a rather unique design because on the top it has a much more reflective finish and on the bottom it has a satin finish. It looks nice, and that's something that's always appreciated on inexpensive devices that are sometimes a bit uglier. So let's get it turned on and see what else comes in the box. On the charger, we also realize that it's an entry series device because it's 10 watts. So it gives us basic charging. At the time I called it a quick charge, but it's been many years since we've seen a charger with this power. The cable obviously will be from USB-A to USB-C, and that's all that's included in the box. So let me put this away and we'll continue to take a look at this device. I already have the device configured here, and I should anticipate that it is a very basic cell phone. So don't have such high expectations of it, please. It weighs 186 grams and is 7.99 millimeters thick. If there is one thing we can highlight about this device, it is that it is very thin and very light. Generally in this range we could find heavier or less stylish devices, but that would be one of the highlights. The screen is 6.74 inches in its diagonal, a fairly large screen but with HD plus resolution. That is, it is a resolution that is not too high. In fact, for a 2024 device, it is a resolution that feels very low. And as you notice, it's currently installing apps in the background, but it shows me ads when the app is finished installing, giving me a feeling of a super cheap device. Fortunately, the screen is 90 Hz, so it's able to show us fluid movements when swiping over it. It has a speaker on the bottom with mono sound and offers an additional gain mode. This comes as no surprise because in entry-level devices, it is obviously what we expect, only mono sound. We would of course have liked to see stereo sound, but that's not common for entry-level devices. The front camera is 5 megapixels with f2.22 aperture. I have a screenshot here before taking the picture just so you can see that it's in a backlight and it does detect that it needs to use HDR, but look at the result. It's definitely a result of a very basic device because it's not able to balance highlights and shadows well. Most of the background remains overexposed. It barely manages to show up a small patch that is more or less well balanced. So believe me, it's a very simple camera. Although fortunately the level of detail is good considering it's 5 megapixels, but honestly it looks well detailed image. And on the back we find 13 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture, and this is just decoration. So you only have one camera. Having 13 megapixels, it's obvious that the level of detail will be good in automatic mode. I think the pictures come out considerably well, but when you zoom in, you'll notice that it doesn't quite retain optical quality. Its maximum zoom is 10x, and you immediately notice that it is a digital zoom, confirming that it is a basic device. In fact, the front camera cannot record in full HD, only HD, while the rear camera does support full HD recording. The battery is 5000 milliamps, supporting 10 watts charge. Again, in charging it is confirmed to be a very simple device. It comes with 128 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. In this regard, it does offer us something nice. As you realize, it comes with Android 13. That is, it is not the most recent version of the operating system. So I wish it came with Android 14 because considering it's an entry series device, I'm pretty sure it will receive few software updates. And finally, the processor is the Unisoc T612. A processor that we've already tested, and again, as I've been telling you throughout the video, it's a processor aimed at extremely entry-level devices. So let's run this benchmark to give us an approximate of the power that it could achieve. I'll come back when I finish this test. And presto, here are the results. 421 points on single core and 1506 points on multi-core. Confirming that it is a very underpowered processor, but in the review we will put it to the test. I think everything will depend on the price at which you find it, because personally I feel that the launch price it has in Mexico with Telcel is too high for what it will actually offer us. But this has just been a first look. Remember that soon we will have the full review where you can learn much more about it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know you can let us know. And we'll see you next time.